Alright everybody, what's up birds? Welcome back. Welcome to the stream everybody. This is Pinball Mafia live stream. Today is a different stream. It is Thursday, the 24th of whatever 5 is. May 24th, 2018. And we're going to be starting Road to the End of the Line. Probably not going to do it in this stream. Maybe never do it. But I'm going to keep busting my head against it until we get there. So maybe content forever. Maybe 2 streams and we're done. We'll see. But I'm just going to, I guess, just get started. So before I get started, I kind of need to explain what End of the Line is for people who don't know. There's a mode in this game. We'll start with the mode called Crank It Up. In order to get to Crank It Up, you have to get, I believe, it's 15 hits on the snake, 15 hits on the ball, also 15 on Sparky and the grave marker. And that, once you get 15 hits on each one, will light up the corresponding light down by the flippers. So the snake head for the snake shot, the coffin for the coffin shot, and so on. Once all 4 lit up, you get a blue light flashing right over here, which is Crank It Up. You go into Crank It Up. It's a single ball mode that scores a lot of points. We're not too interested in the points right now within the modes, but I'll kind of go over the best way to play each one while I'm in there. And then our goal today is just to get out as quick as possible. In order to do that, you hit each one of the 4 shots you hit to get in there once. Every time you hit it, it lights its corresponding shot, which will light the blue light over here. You shoot it in there, and you get out of Crank It Up. You have to play through 4 Crank It Ups, and they are more difficult to get to each time. They require more hits to each shot to get to Crank It Up. And then after you've played all 4 Crank It Ups, I believe you have to collect enough shots to light essentially a 5th Crank It Up, which is End of the Line, which is what we're trying to get to. Just getting to 1 Crank It Up is difficult enough. We have to get to 5 of them. So I don't know if we're ever gonna get there. I've gotten there like 2 or 3 times in the 7 years we've owned this game, but we're giving it a shot live for whatever reason. You can use your multi-balls in the game. There are 4 multi-balls in the game. There's snake multi-ball, coffin multi-ball, Sparky multi-ball, and grave multi-ball. You can see a theme here with the 4 important shots. After you hit enough of each one, essentially, the snake's a little different. Once you hit enough of each one, you get into a multi-ball, and you can use that multi-ball to gain progress towards your Crank It Up, which is very important. Other ways you can earn progress towards Crank It Up, besides just hitting the shot regularly, I'll kind of demonstrate to you in this first game.
Very good.
So right now I have I'm gonna waste this ball sake talking, but my left ramp has a red arrow flashing. It's got a little spider on it. That's pretty important. That means that whatever shot I hit next, out of the 3 inserts below it. So there's a switch for Sparky, which I don't know if I'm actually pointing at. So let me look at the screen. There's a switch for Sparky, a little snake head for the snake, and then a cross for the grave marker. So if I hit either one of those 3 shots right now, that light will light underneath the blinking red arrow. If I want to move that red arrow to a different shot, I simply need to take that shot. So if I hit the right ramp right now, that red arrow would move to the right ramp. Let's see. Oh, after you complete all 3, so after I get the switch, the snake head, and the grave marker, it'll start flashing. And then I just need to hit that shot one more time. It'll start flashing really fast, and the coffin will be going crazy. If I hit the coffin, it will lock in those 3 shots for the rest of the game. Otherwise, they reset at the end of the ball. And the importance of those shots, the reason you want them lit, is because they count towards a hit for each of the 3 items. So I can potentially get a grave shot, a sparky shot, and a snake shot with one hit to a ramp. And that counts as one of my 15. And I can do that for the 5 shots you see with the red arrows. Let's see, the only thing that cannot be spotted with that is the coffin because it does not have its own light. And then we'll just kind of play it out and go from there. So I'm gonna try to hit Sparky right now, and I'm just trying to get into that multi-ball, and then I'll use that multi-ball to try to set up my other shots. Because I want those locked in on ball 1 if I can. It collects the finished shot. It doesn't matter if you hit another shot. What it does is it starts a hurry up value that starts counting down. So you have a bunch of time to hit it, and as long as you hit it, I don't think you can actually mess it up as long as you hit it on the same ball and you don't drain. I don't think that if the hurry up counts all the way down, your lights don't reset or anything, nothing bad happens, it just maybe sits at a low value. I'm actually not sure. I've never paid attention to it. If I've been ignoring the coffin, it's been for good reason, and I don't really remember what happens. I think it just sits at a lower value. So, let's get into it. Let's go for Sparky multi-ball, and use that multi-ball to try to lock in our other shot. Now, I have not played this game since we streamed it the other day, even once. So, today may not be the best day for fully getting to end of the line. As you can tell by my flailing a little bit. Not much, but enough to where I don't feel great about it. Damn it. Oh my god, I can't even hit Sparky. I just realized I have headphones in, I think. I was just talking on the phone a second ago, and
Come on, do it, do it, do it.
all right, so our next hit to Sparky, right there, we'll start multi-ball. We'll take these out.
Fry that motherfucker.
I just learned enough about this machine to know how bad at it I am now. That's funny. Okay, so something I did forget to do that's fairly important, I would say. Not super important, but if you're going for a long game, it's pretty important, which is to get your first coffin lock before you start Sparky. Because right now that bottom light on coffin is flashing, which indicates to me that the next shot to coffin will lock a ball. However, you cannot lock a ball within a multi-ball. You can light that lock, but you cannot collect it. So it's just gonna sit there being ready to lock until I'm done with this multi-ball. What I could have done was make sure I had collected that lock before I got into multi-ball, and then all of these hits to coffin, which are doing nothing essentially right now, could be making progress towards my second coffin lock. So I've got 2 shots locked in right now. I've got the left ramp. Well, the left ramp, I still need to hit the coffin once. And I've got my graveyard locked in, which is pretty good, considering the grave marker is the next multi-ball I'm going to go for. That was incredibly lucky. Just got a Lazarus there. Now, there is a mistake I've made here, which is that I have, first of all, lost control of the ball, but second, I have pretty much all of my shots locked in. I have my left loop ready to be locked in.
Hey, what's that smell?
And my right ramp is essentially 3 shots away. The problem here is if you lock in all 5 shots, you get a different mode. It's called, what the hell is that mode? It's not End of the Line. It's, someone will tell me. But you get a certain mode. Oh, Seek and Destroy. That's the mode you get if you lock in all 5 shots. And then after you get out of Seek and Destroy, all of your locked in shots just go away, and you have to do it again. So I don't want to lock in all 5 shots, but I've gotten dangerously close to doing that exact thing. I wish I hadn't hit my left loop and gotten it as close as I have, and I focused on my right ramp. That way I could ramp combo to my Crank It Up. But as it sits right now, 1 shot to the left loop is going to start the hurry up at the coffin and essentially screw me over. So I don't know if I want to go for that and just like get through Seek and Destroy and then try to get some more things up, because Seek and Destroy is worth a lot of points, but we don't care about points right now. We're going for End of the Line, right? Or Seek and Destroy, excuse me. I discovered that they reset the shots the hard way a couple games. Oh, yeah. It does suck when you're like, oh, I've got everything locked in. Oh, and then all of my progress that I had made is just gone. But it makes sense because Seek and Destroy is worth a ton of points, and you want to be able to get there again. So it kind of locks you out in order to, oh, okay, and I'm doing something really dumb right now, which is not going for my grave markers. Because if I go for grave marker right now, I'm both getting double progress towards grave marker because the light is lit in front of it as well as the shot itself, so that would give me 2 hits to grave marker. And I would also be making progress towards my next multi-ball, which is important. So we'll try to just hit that shot and not drain off of it. It's a dangerous shot, but so is every shot in Metallica, so I'm not really too worried about it. If I drain, I drain, but I pretty much would have had the same chance draining everywhere else.
Shoot the scoop.
Okay, so I don't know all of the rules for the drop targets resetting. So if I get into Crank It Up and then I hit that drop target, when I get out of Crank It Up, they'll all 3 come back. But if I knock this one down now, then go into Crank It Up, will they reset? I don't know. I would love for someone to be able to tell me. If you're watching this live, you can throw it in the chat. If you're watching it later, archived on YouTube, comment, because I want to know. But we'll go ahead and assume that if I knock that down now, it won't come back up later. Well, no, we're just going to go into Crank It Up, and I'll leave it up to people to tell me. Oh, shit. If Lyman's out there, which I know... Oh, hey, I'm commenting on my own thing. Yes. Alright, for whom the bell tolls. Let's just go through it left to right. For whom the bell tolls. So this is a mode where each of the 5 shots are lit with the grave marker being the first shot. As you hit them, the shots increase towards the shot itself. And you get a really good amount of points for doing it.
Hell yeah!
However, we're not interested in that. We are interested in hitting the snake right now, or draining. Okay, so we're a 1/5 of the way there. I'm hoping to be playing on a premium this weekend. It's a great game. Now, if we're going to get into the pro versus premium debate, there are a lot of games that a premium is way worth it and way better than the pro. AC/DC, for instance, which is right here. Way more worth it for the premium than the pro. However, Metallica, is not one of those games in my opinion. I think the pro is a little bit better, as from a tournament player's perspective, at least. Just because of things like, what was I gonna say? Oh, son of a bitch. I got too into my thoughts. The Sparky seems to be a little easier to hit from the right flipper on the Pro. I don't know if that captive ball on the Premium is actually a little further out, or if it just seems to be because of the hammer. But it seems like Sparky's way easier to hit from the right side on a Pro, because that gap seems to be a little wider.
Player one.
The mechanism with the coffin seems to mess up a little bit. The only thing that the Premium has going for it, in my eyes, is the fact that it has native spinners. We've modded our game. This is a Pro game, but it has spinners because we put those on and connected them to the left and right stand-up target. But the Premium has native spinners, which helps a lot with something like Fade to Black, which is a switch hit mode, and the spinners do count for switches. Yeah. But I've had that mechanism with the coffin lock mess up a few times. Like, it would bring the ball down and then it would get stuck behind the magnet that brought it down there, and just weird little things that but then again, I'm both a little biased, and I'm not speaking from simply just a fun perspective, because I think the Premium it's to look at, it's pretty good. I mean, it's pretty good, and you know, it's got a few more things going on, and also just fun. Like, it's fun to watch the hammer smash the ball into the playfield. Like, that's a cool feature. But just from a player's perspective, I like the Pro Metallica better.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The snake jaw goes up and down, which is actually a super nice feature that I wish the Pro had, but it doesn't. Because in multi-ball, when you add a ball, by hitting the 4 pick targets and then going into the snake, on this one it says ball locked, and then it just shoots the ball right out of the snake's mouth immediately, because you could easily put 2 in there and the game wouldn't know. On the Premium and the LE, shoot a ball in there, the snake's mouth closes, and it literally locks that ball in for 30 seconds while you have double playfield, which is fantastic, because you could end up with, I believe you can end up with single ball play multi-ball if you lock the ball in there for 30 seconds, and that is fantastic. Jackpots everywhere. And then the grave marker moving up and down, that's just badass. There's not much really else to say. I don't remember what song I just played, but I know that it wasn't Sad But True. So we'll give that a go. I'm gonna try to play a different song every time, but I don't know what song I started with last time. And as you can see, that was a game with a good ball 1 and an abysmal ball 2 and 3, and we only got a 1/5 of the way to our end goal, which is, you know,
Yeah.
Alright, so now that I'm on the ramp, I'm gonna go for Sparky. I wanted to move my my red arrow off of the left loop. That was pretty important to me. All the shots on the right, I'm good with. I don't mind the red arrow being there, but the left loop, I really don't want it there.
Extra ball is lit.
Because the right loop is easier to hit than the left loop. The left loop is the hardest base it's the hardest of the 5 shots to hit. And when you have your shots locked in for different things, you really want the easiest shots to hit. which are the 2 ramps in the right loop. The grave marker, I'm not avoiding that, even though it's technically a more dangerous shot. Just because I'm going to go for grave marker multi-ball later anyway. I know I'm going to clear that out, and my red arrow is going to be there for a while. And I'm not going to take another shot in between each lock. That's just not something I want to think about. So that's more of a strategic thing to leave that one than it is something that I would want. Oh my god.
Don't let that snake near.
We'll keep going. Yeah, songs are purely cosmetic. There's no... They don't affect the gameplay like they do on AC/DC at all.
Amazing.
Alright. So... Oh, and by the way, extra balls are off. So there's no way to earn those. Because I did hit extra ball earlier. And you could tell by the fact that my game ended. It did not actually give me an extra ball. Which makes this really difficult. You gotta get 5 crank it ups in 3 balls. Oh my god. There we go.
Ride the lightning.
And it feels good to get a multi-ball, but you didn't really do anything as far as this trying to get to the end of the line thing. You're getting points. If you get to Sparky multi-ball in a tournament, you've done well. But it really doesn't mean anything until you're in cranking up. Now see, I got my first coffin lock. It was on mistake, but that's important because now I can make progress within this multi-ball to my my second coffin lock. Oh, get in the snake. My snake right now, because the light's flashing, is an add-a-ball in this multi-ball, which will help out a lot. Just gotta get it in there. There we go.
Snake eat your ball.
So if I hit a grave, that'll get that ready to lock in, or I could miss and hit the left loop. Do exactly what I said I didn't want to do earlier.
Go for it.
Well, oh, might as well lock it in. So the one shot I was trying to avoid is the one shot I
Nice
locked in.
freaking shot.
That's fine.
I'll share my helmet with you.
I guess I'll try to avoid the left ramp then.
Grave markers are lit.
Nope.
Smash. Robert. Damn right. Hell yeah. Shoot the scoop.
Sorry if I'm being a little more quiet than normal. Normally I talk pretty much through the whole thing if I'm doing Addams Family or Twilight Zone or whatever, but this just takes a little more concentration. And my chat's way back there. I would have it right here, but I was an idiot and I put it way over there. Is there any other way to get coffin hits towards Crank It Up besides banging on the captive ball? The short answer, no, maybe. The way that you get coffin hits is just banging on the captive ball. However, you do get double progress if you've gone through an in lane first. So if it rolls over an in lane and then you immediately slam it into the coffin, it counts for 2 hits instead of just 1. And you'll see, if you pay attention, anytime a ball goes over an in lane, look at the coffin, because it'll have this kind of like white glow where the captive balls are, indicating that it's ready for double hit. Out lanes don't do it though. Are you going to try to move Judge Dredd by yourself after the stream? I don't know why I would, but I guess I can. Judge Dredd is in the other room, right over there. We will have it ready for you guys in, what is it, 3 days for our stream? Alright, so we played through 1, Cranked It Up. We're on ball 3.
Awesome.
That's not awesome, but thanks for the, So since we're pretty much not getting there on this game. Oh, you see how that that light lit up in the coffin for a second when I went over the in lane? Here, I'll hit this ramp, and you'll see that light come on right there. That means it was worth 2 hits.
Oh, loser ball.
Yeah, because that's the only marker lighting on this. Noted. Thank you.
That's sick.
Ah, it was Ride the Lightning I played earlier, I think. We'll go Whom the Bell Tolls.
Very good.
So I think we've all had those kind of games. Those like singular, like 3-ball games where you just like step up to it. I'm not playing that. Okay, so let's see. That was really 2. But if we're going to be honest with ourselves, we've played 3 games. The games played total is not going up. Well, good thing I just fixed that. I don't know if early resets like that should count, but I counted it.
Cooking up now.
But see now, in like 4 months. Oh, I'm sorry. I was in the middle of saying something else. Once you, like we've all had those games where you're playing it and you can't do anything wrong. Everything's going right. It seems like luck is just on your side for this one particular time that you're playing. That's pretty much what you need to get to the end of the line on this. You just need to have all the bounces be on your side for a game and just everything go right. There's not really a way to, at least I haven't, I'm not good enough for there to be a way for you to like control Metallica completely to where you can get to the end of the line every time.
He said to zap him, so let's zap him.
Maybe that should be game started. Well, I mean, I technically played a little bit. And like the first one, I got, I think I don't even know if I got the Sparky on my first ball, but I got further than 326,000 or whatever it was. danger. Oh, okay, got the coffin. Oh, there goes that. But I've got two of my my main shots here locked in,
Have a good barbecue.
and I'm on my way to. Oh, damn it. That was a drop catch from hell. That was crazy.
Multi-ball. Yeah.
Okay, I've got this light show going on. I don't remember what I have to do. Okay, Sparky. Well, actually, I'm gonna hit that pick target and that flashing pick target on the right ramp. Try to get my attaboy. Shut up, dude.
Hell. You.
Got it. Okay. Got Sparky.
Shoot the grave marker.
Alright. So we did the one on the left. We'll cycle. We'll go fade to black. The way to play fade to black is all 5 of your main shots light up with all of their things underneath them. One of those, which is the left loop right now, will be flashing. All of the shots are worth points. The flashing one is worth more points. But where the real points are and the way you finish the mode is getting switch hits. So the spinners are the best option here. Don't know why I shot that. I shouldn't have. I'm going for snake. If you don't have spinners, still shoot the loops because the pop bumpers can give you a lot of switch hits. Oh my god. Wow, I don't know how that didn't give me a danger, but I'm glad it didn't. Damn it. Well, I got points, I guess, so. We have that going for us.
Free game. Go
What moves
for
the
it.
flashing shot? Time or hitting something? Hitting the flashing shot is what moves the flashing shot. It seemed to move when I got it in the scoop, so it's possible the scoop spots you a flashing shot. Or that might have just been a switch that registered that shouldn't have. I'm not actually sure.
Nice job.
We do not have this game set to where it's just gonna give you a crank it up
Freaking me out.
or into the line. So now the beauty of what I did earlier in locking these shots in kind of comes into play. Because I have 4 shots right now that spot me a hit for 4 different things. Did I say different? I think I said different. It's not a word. Yeah, if I wasn't playing for Into the Line and getting more crank it ups, I would have stayed inside of Fade to Black longer. I would have hit more spinner shots. I would have kept hitting them, until the machine faded to black, because that's what the machine does within that mode. Is it the more switch hits you hit, the lights in the game actually fade to black. And once you get to the end of it, it gives you 15 million points. It goes, oh, and then the machine's GI cuts off, I believe. And then you are basically left just in that mode until you collect and leave. And damn it, I had my double scoring lit over here on this this piston target. After you spell fuel, this arrow lights up solid, indicating that that shot and hitting the target at the end of it is lit for double playfield. So before you leave a Crank It Up, especially if you have that lit, or if you're at like FUE, I suggest going for double scoring, because even me just playing to get out of Crank It Up and not playing for points at all, I left Crank It Up with 22 million. That could have been doubled. That could have easily been 44, 45, depending on what my thousands were. And if you're playing for points and you go all the way through that Crank It Up mode, that jackpot just gets higher and higher and higher. And if you double that, I mean, you can leave with, I mean, I don't know the high amount, but I've left with over 100 million before from a Crank It Up, I do believe. All right, well, we'll keep going. We'll play Blackened, because I never do, and it's what the game started out as.
Grave. Shoot the scoop to collect the extra ball. Gasket lock 1.
The reason why Coffin multi-ball is the hardest multi-ball to get to. The reason why I want to prioritize getting lock 1 before I start a multi-ball, like I said earlier, is so that you can earn progress towards your second and third locks within a multi-ball. However, the reason why I want to do that, and why I'm making it a point to even try to get there, because it's so far away, is because it's the only multi-ball that you can stack in another multi-ball with. So I can get close to Coffin, and I can start Coffin, and then once I'm in Coffin, I can start Sparky within it, or I can